So no dev update today, guys. It is Saturday. We cannot expect one, to be honest, and probably not anything tomorrow as well. But with the state of War Thunder dev server right now, I would assume that we will see a dev update on Monday and the continuation of the dev server. I would be really surprised, right, if we don't see that. But while we wait, let's try to explore all the new things that are getting added. We're gonna test it out them a little bit more, of course. So I would test AA systems, all sorts of things, okay? But I just really wanted to do a video about this. Probably nobody's gonna see it. It doesn't get a lot of attention because people don't care too much about certain vehicles, but still I really wanted to have a little bit of fun, try to do some dogfights, and talk about the differences between the Mirage 3S and the other Mirages. And why is that? Because the Mirage 3S, guys, it is basically one of the closest Mirage 3s that to our Mirage 3s that we had back in the day, right? The Brazilians, right? So it had the canards and everything, so it is pretty cool to see it. And it is even funny that it's been a while since me and a friend, this friend that we're doing the dogfights, we were wanting to actually see the Mirage 3S in the game, and it's finally here. So I really wanted to take a look on what this aircraft can do against some of the other Mirages that we have, right? So let's see some dogfights to see how they how it is performing, right? So here we go at the first ones. We started trying to do against the Mirage 3E. One thing, or a couple of things that I need to talk about, is that we are trying to avoid head-on shots, just because the objective is to kind of have a checkmate against the target, okay? And of course, remember, guys, this is just two friends trying to have fun. It's not like a serious scientific study, okay? So yeah, I'm doing mistakes, he's doing mistakes, it's late at night. We're just trying to, you know, to kind of see if there is a clear winner, okay, over here, basically, right? And think about the Mirage 3S, guys, as an aircraft that is based on the Mirage 3E, but it does have the canards. I even tried to take the Falcon missiles over here, but the radar is not ready yet, and I don't even think it will be, you know, having that. It doesn't have a bore sight lock, so it's kind of hard to actually use this missile anyway, right, in a dogfight. But yeah. But look at this. This is what I think the Mirage 3S has more on the Mirage 3, the normal ones. It just has that little tiny little bit of nose authority that makes you be able to do certain maneuvers that the other Mirages cannot do. But at the same time, you gotta think that this thing is based off of the Mirage 3E, so it is a little bit heavier. So while we are just fighting with the Mirage 3E, it is basically just an upgrade over that, right? But once we start to fight with the lighter ones, it will become a problem, right? So it's kind of funny even. So yeah, again, guys, it depends very much on the, you know, maneuvers that you are doing and everything over here. But in a general sense, the Mirage 3S will be able to pull a little bit more, and sometimes in the very low airspeeds, it feels like the aircraft almost can do a Cobra. If he had the button, it would probably do it, just because of the canard. It's kind of funny. Completely missed that shot there. Jesus Christ, I was tired maybe. I don't know how I was missing so many shots that night. But yeah, but again, I'm able to pull a little bit more, to use the air brakes, to always have a little bit of an advantage over the 3E. It's not by much, but it is there. And if he's not careful, you know, he can get killed very easily. See, I mean, he cannot pull anymore here, even when I am pulling at 200 kilometers per hour, right? I kind of stalled out the aircraft there, so I couldn't put the nose on the target, but I'm still managing to maintain the nose authority well enough so that I can get shot out, you know, shots out. And with the nose authority, I can lose a little bit more energy as well, so I'm able to control a little bit more of my energy to be able to get the kill. Completely missed that as well. and I'm just here. It's basically a kill already, right? I just need to focus on getting the kill. So against the 3E, the 3S is much better, much easier to fly, and it just has a little bit more nose authority. Against the 3C, it's a completely different subject. You know, the aircraft, I already dumped the missiles because I noticed that I wasn't able to properly use them anyway, because it doesn't have a bore sight on the radar. The radar is not ready yet, so we have to wait to see if you will get something like that. It uses a Hughes radar, so completely different radar, right? No head-ons again, and yeah, you will see that the 3C, although sometimes you will have even like still has less nose authority because of the lack of canards and stuff, but at the end of the day, you are so lighter that you can do what I was doing against the 3E against the 3S, right? So it's very funny. I mean, look at this complete mistake over here, basically got me killed. I tried to go upwards, I just basically wasn't able to, and then that killed me. So one mistake, you were killed because it's so close, right? But even then, it can be something that it's doable, right? It all comes down to the pilot because the differences are so small. But the 3C had an advantage over the 3S, right? And against the 5F, it is kind of the same feeling because the 5F is also lighter, you know, doesn't have a radar and everything. It might be even the lightest one, I have to check, but so the idea here is the same, but since I have a little bit more nose authority, I can, together with my air brakes, maintain a position where I don't overshoot because of that. So I can have the same power, maybe a little bit less acceleration, but since I have a little bit more nose authority, I can have those odd shots and also make viable to lose a little bit more energy so that I'm always trying to stay behind the enemy, right? And that's where I think this 3C is one of the coolest Mirages you can fly, you know? It is one of those feelings where you are just flying one of the Israelis, Kafirs or something like that. It doesn't properly is the same, but it feels a little bit like that, right? Because those have the canards as well, so you can always pull a little bit more, and it is very close to something like the Mirage 2000. Not as much, but it is closer, right? So it is very cool. The canards really make a difference, and you know, the Mirage 3E, for example, it's an aircraft that I think a lot of people complain about that because it is heavier, right? So with the canards, it becomes a completely different aircraft. It really is a lot more fun to fly. And it will be probably my favorite Mirage 3 era vehicle, right? Or Mirage, right? Because of the canards, because of the Falcon missile, you know, it's very cool. So as you can see, the 5F is very light as well, so it can maintain a very good energy deployment over here. I missed that. I don't have nose authority enough to properly aim. A lot of smoke on my screen as well, so I managed to just miss again. Again, guys, I was so tired this day, but yeah. And of course, it doesn't matter too much. We're just having fun, right? But yeah, try to continue the loop over here, trying to maintain or get him to overshoot a little bit, maybe not in a proper way, but trying to make the same thing happen. Here I noticed that I need to slow down to maintain his 6, right? But at the same time, I have to be careful to not lose too much speed. But as you can see, even in the lower airspeeds, the aircraft still has the nose on. So that's the scary part against any Mirage. I mean, the 5F is much, much lighter than this thing. But because you have a little bit more nose authority, it is just very hard for the 5F to properly kill you, you know? So this is what you should expect against the 3C as well if you do more dogfights. It's just that the 3S can, you know, get this little bit of nose authority that makes it up to be very, very dangerous. How does it fare against other aircraft? Well, we tested a little bit. I'm not gonna show too much, but it is better than the 3E, so you can win against MiG-21s and other aircraft that are in this BR. you know, it depends very much on how you use the aircraft, but it can be done very easily if you know what you're doing, right? Again, very low speed, 150 kilometers per hour, no nose control, although I have the nose authority to be able to pull, almost do a Cobra kind of, at the same time, not a proper Cobra, but, you know, do that disconnection of the airflow, but I'm just not able to control the nose then, right? And with that, I cannot get a shot out. So eventually, he just turns around and shoots a magic on me, and I get killed again because the magic won. And this will be the main problem against this aircraft, you know? It is a problematic aircraft in the terms of missiles, because you have a very good radar missile, but it likes chaff, and the IR missile that you have is the A9E. So at the end of the day, it is a little bit weird, right? You are fighting Magic 1 sometimes. If you even take a look on the BRs over here, it is a higher BR than the C and a lower BR than the E, but it can beat the E on a dogfight very easily, but lose to the C. So it's kind of funny, right? You have to, you know, it's in between the two. The only problem here is that you don't have a magic, I would say, right? But you have the Falcon. If the target doesn't have chaff, you will be able to kill it. So this is it, guys. The Mirage 3S, for me, it's the most fun you can have on a Mirage 3. I think it's the coolest one. It's not really ready yet. It doesn't have the proper radar. And let's wait and see how the fly model becomes. But it is just such an iconic aircraft for the Cold War that I think you need to get if you love Mirage 3s, right? So I guess this is it. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the Mirage 3S against the other Mirages. And yeah, see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see ya.